Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Daniel. Welcome to day 5 of 50 Days of Data. Today, we're going to be talking about data velocity. Now, this is something that some people may or may not necessarily be thinking about, and it is a component part to big data. The reason I want to talk about it is because I think that it takes a certain mindset to ingest real-time data at very high speeds, understand what's happening from a logic perspective, and without delving into coding and systems architecture too much, try to give you guys a high-level understanding of what's happening behind the scenes on all the machines that are running things. So to give you an example of the quantity of data that is being produced, and as I mentioned before, as data gets produced more and more by everything, this is potentially going to become more and more complex of a problem with more and more unstructured data. So when the data is coming in, there's tons and tons of information that can be contained within a single call. For instance, some of the clients who I've worked with in past lives have the ability to ingest 1 million queries per second. And a query is not just a single line of code. That query is essentially like a window pane of information giving a ton of insight into whatever is happening with that particular unit device or edge device. So to try to make a little more of an abstract and intractable example, I want you to think about sending a text message to your friend. So just think about sending that text message, but instead of sending one text message to your friend, think about sending 1 million text messages to your friend all at the same time. What would happen to their phone? It would most likely crash. Not saying, that it would, but most likely it would crash. It's a ton of data hitting the server or the processor all at one time. And for those of you who don't know how computer processing works, basically, the computer actually needs to ingest the data or ETL that data, right? So extract, transform, log, and then respond to that data. So you can completely overload a server or a computer, and as of now, server costs are starting to balloon with many companies that I know of because many more calls from data are trying to be logged, and this is something that needs to be thought about more as things evolve in the data economy. And I definitely think that there's some opportunity, but also speaking a little bit more about that, you have to understand that not all data is inherently valuable. I think I was reading a book one time about YouTube. I believe it was actually contained in Malcolm Gladwell's Blink, but 90% of stuff on YouTube is garbage, 10% is decent, and then 1% is good. Hopefully you guys think my content is good, so I would love to make it to that 10% that's actually worth watching. That being said, you have to understand what is it that you're actually trying to get out of that data. But on top of what you're trying to get out of that data, how quickly can you actually react to that data? It's coming in so fast, and we live in a time of right now. So basically, if you aren't able to ingest that data very quickly and react to that data very quickly, there's value at risk there from a business perspective, and you might lose because we live in a time and a place where everybody basically gets whatever they want, whenever they want, right now. So let's say your consumer is hungry right now and they want a burger, but you miss out on that because you're 5 seconds too late and they already went to your competitor. That's just a very simple example about how we should be thinking, or I believe we should be thinking about high velocity data as a component part in big data. And there are a ton of technologies out there from an analytics perspective that you can leverage in order to dissect your data, whether it's something that's real time, which can give you insights right now into what's happening across your entire business, or whether it's a little bit more delayed. But I just want to ask you guys, is it something that you can wait for? Because what's the opportunity cost of not having that real-time data and not moving to a right now business instead of analyzing the data from yesterday that might not necessarily even be relevant today? So if you guys are interested in what I'm talking about, want to hear more, feel free to get in touch. I'm not shy, and I would love to hear from you guys. I appreciate the feedback so far. Please share this with your friends. Subscribe to my channel. Looking forward to another 45 days of data. Talk to you guys tomorrow. Cheers.